Hello, this is J.N.S, and I just want to cover this topic briefly about TD Jakes, but we're going to cover more of the esoteric aspects of this idea of sex magic rituals. Obviously, it's going to get a little salacious in the sense that I am going to talk about the allegations of TD Jakes being a power bottom at P. Diddy's sex parties. And so, our community, they hear something and they run with it. And, a thing like that, how do I say this? Because I'm not one to like defend people I don't know because I don't know this man at all from a can of paint. So I'm not in defense or necessarily against TD Jakes. I'm just, trying to see what obviously all this about, like you guys are. And so a couple of days ago, we all know this shit went viral, and they was talking about Cassie went forward with a burner of sorts. I believe it was Kim Porter's burner, and on that burner, there's some evidence of TD Jakes being a power bottom at the P Diddy ritual at the P Diddy sex party, and they Cassie also submitted some very compromising photos or video footage of her as well. They said it. They alluded to the footage of her actually getting, a golden shower or some shit like that. I don't know. It's all it's all hearsay. It's all gossipy. But I do believe that there's she submitted some type of evidence. I think that was true. As far as the TD Jakes at the party, Jack Ryer, right? She tried to tell us about that months ago. That she was saying, why was he at P Diddy's party? Either you're there for money or you there for the sex magic ritual. So which one is it? And so she had told us about that months ago. So it's nothing. It's not like we haven't heard it, and people have been saying stuff. There was another pastor, I think his name was Pastor Jennings, who spoke out and said, "Why is he at P Diddy party?" And my thing, I felt that he was a little judgy. I felt like that's one thing. Like I'm an ordained minister, but one thing, like I really don't like the way I really don't like the aspect of the religiosity of the church. And so I kind of was a little turned off by the video. He's like, "Oh, the sinners, and different than the da da da." And I'm just looking like, "Oh God, here we go with that," because that's just so. My mind can't conceptualize that kind of thinking. But anyways, um, they saying it's about TD Jakes, and then Twitter goes down. I thought because a lot of times stuff go down, you know, with the websites and all this stuff. But I thought it was just my account. I said, "Oh shit, they done. Well, they trying to." Because at that time I was looking up the stuff with the TD Jakes, but it was something else that was extremely controversial that I was looking at. I want to say, yeah, it was something with Epstein. Yeah, it was something with the somebody had on Twitter had put a post about the Epstein stuff, and so I was looking at the list, and then it just that it just said welcome to Twitter. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, oh shit, you're not supposed to be looking at it. Like, what was going on? I thought it was just me. And then I went on Down Detector, and it was like a bunch of people saying, "Oh, Twitter's down, Twitter's down, Twitter's down." It happened right when the Epstein and the TD Jakes started to go viral. So people was like, "Oh, the TD Jakes got the type of power to kind of do that with Twitter." I think it was the Epstein stuff. I really do, because that was going viral at the same time. It really was at the same time. It was people posted a bunch of stuff about that list that's supposed to come out. Same time that the TD Jake stuff started to go viral. And so, people ran with it. Black community ran with it. It was funny. They had showing the clips of being a power bottom, and showing a clip of him with the purple robe talking about, have you ever been swallowed? Have you ever done some swallowing? I ain't gonna hold you. I laughed at that. But what does it say about a society where we take somebody's really private, intimate moments that's really private, that's really none of our business, and then just salaciously ruin their reputation with the information that we really don't actually have proof of. And so that's what I was a little conflicted about, because I'm like, okay, did he do something criminal here, like as far as touching some kids? violating some women, violating somebody, because that's the only way I would see as a community us getting our pitchforks and going after him. If we got a bunch of people coming forward saying he did this to them and something like that, it's something to investigate, right? It's something to look into. If you got, you know, teenagers or people coming forward saying, oh, he did this to me and he drugged me, you know, and then there's some investigation and we'll go from there. But someone just going to a sex party and getting their back blown out, I really don't. I mean, it might be funny to laugh at, but that shit really ain't none of our business. And I know we are going to get more into the esoteric aspects of that, but I'm just breaking it down just objectively. Like, that nigga wanted to go to my thing is, why would you go to P. Diddy's party? But let me just say this. Like, let's not act like in ATL, it's some freaks out here, right? And they go to the trapeze sex party. I used to watch Candy Coated Nights. And Candy Coated Nights used to be live at the Tags Boutique. Like, used to just be live. And man, you should hear some of them things them black folk was up there saying, man. It was hilarious. They was some freaks. And they was open and loud and proud about it. And they would talk about, they would go to trapeze. They said, we going to trapeze after the Candy Coated Night show. And they go and find and go get fucked. And I remember one of the girls said she went with her husband. She said she went with her husband one, and then she said the next day while her husband went to work, she goes back to the trapeze sex party. She goes back to trapeze, right? And she don't tell her husband. And she said she had 3 men at that night. Now that's very disrespectful. But she was just talking like it was just nothing, just clear as day. And so, you know, the freaks come out at night. And so what I say, but what my point is, like, I honestly respect people living in their truth. Like, I respect people just as, like, you know what, this is how I roll. Like, if I was one of them niggas that go to sex parties or get freaky, I wouldn't be ashamed about my shit. I wouldn't be ashamed. I'm not like that, but I'm just saying, if I was, I wouldn't see the big fucking deal. I think this shame about sexuality and shame about sex and the repression about sex it leads to the sort of deviancy that you see in the industry. It leads toward a deviancy of people feeling ashamed, and also moments like this where you get caught in the act or you get caught slipping, and then our whole community is just laughing and making a whole joke out of a very intimate, private moment. Now, if he wanted to go to that sex party and he did what he did at that party, it's really not the public's business. It's his wife's business. Now, she the one that got to be up there acting a fool and acting and really going off. She got a right to do all that. But the rest of us, it's really none of our business. He went to the sex party to go be a power bottom. And we all know that it's a sex magic ritual that the Brotherhood do. Let's be real. I'll break that down. We're gonna go deep. But his wife should be the only one that should be up in arms, but I guess because it's from the church thing, you know, it's like he's a pastor. And see, my thing is, that's another thing, and I'm gonna talk to you pastors right now. I'm an ordained minister myself. I'm a spiritual intuitive, a tantric philosopher, all of that. I come from the Agori. I can't even get into that because, you know, I was like, people won't understand that. They hear Agori and they think Western left-hand path, and I don't have nothing to do with that shit, that Baphomet shit. I don't believe in that. Satanism, I don't get down like that. I don't fuck with that. But when I talk about the Agori left-hand path, we're talking about the ancient practices that predate any religion on this planet. That's where I come from. The chaos intelligence realm. The realm that birthed Judaism and all the shit y'all practice now, pretty much. And so, here's the thing with you pastors know deeper knowledge than what you let your congregation on. You guys know that what y'all be doing. Y'all be doing rituals, and y'all into occults and y'all occultists. Some of you are very powerful warlocks, but you sitting there with a Bible in your hand every Sunday, and you follow the real teachings of Yeshua. You know the real teachings of Yeshua in terms of his intergalactic mentalism teachings and who he was as a priest of Melchizedek and assistant of the Dragon Riders. Y'all know who he was, how he got down. And so y'all know this stuff and y'all want to keep it secret from y'all congregation. Then when y'all get caught doing these little rituals and stuff, everybody, all the Christians is freaking out. They don't know what the fuck going on. Now they ready to crucify your ass and bash you over the head. And now you looking like, oh, they don't understand all this information that we have and this knowledge that we have. They'll never understand it. And then really, y'all really practicing a bastardized version of our shit anyways. But it's like, then you get caught And now you got to explain to your congregation what you was doing. And my thing is, TD Jakes, if you didn't do nothing outside of, if you didn't hurt nobody and take advantage of no children or do no, and get hung up, take advantage of somebody while they was in a coma or some shit like that, you go into that party doing and getting your back blown out. It's really none of our business. The thing is, do your wife know? Is your wife aware of what you're doing at the P. Diddy party? Does she have a solid understanding of what's going on? Maybe she do, maybe she don't. But that's really the only person you got to answer to in God. Because, yeah, y'all want to get into the sex magic ritual and y'all be on that Aleister Crowley shit, trying to awaken the Kundalini energy or transfer electrons or even fucking entities. Do y'all have proper understanding of those practices? Because to me, the way the Westerners practice that science, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all doing. The way y'all practice tantric, those tantric energies as far as that sex magic, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all doing. And we try to explain from my order that practice was a perversion from how do we say this? The interdimensional beings, which you guys call the fallen angels who taught y'all that knowledge thousands and thousands of years ago, they didn't understand it. They twisted it. They didn't understand it because the original way to awaken that Kundalini energy, open up the pineal gland and all this stuff, you did not have to do sodomy. Certainly you didn't have to do. Now, the idea of sex magic was always in existence. Yes, that was always there. At that time, those interdimensional, we get an esoteric here, so bear with me. At that time, those interdimensional beings, what you guys call fallen angels, they were not privy to those actions because in our dimension, that's practiced by the order of Kali and the order of Tahuti. Angels, the fallen angels that came down here, they were not privy to that information. They knew that there was some sort of sex magic going on, but they didn't know what the fuck was actually going on. They just knew that, okay, the order of Kali, which is at a higher rank than them, do these practices and we don't understand what it is. But they had understanding of Kundalini meditation, of how to activate Kundalini through the meditation. Those angels in the higher dimensions are like age 5 to 10. So the children, we see angels as children from our dimension. Those angels, sure, they knew about the Kundalini awakening and all that. They had knowledge of that. And so they come down here to planet Earth. They knew that some sort of sex magic was being done. And again, they trying to rise in consciousness and they trying to go to the next level, but they got sent down here. They wanted to come down here. They got kicked out. They got sent down here to teach you guys some shit. And they didn't have all the teachings. So they could only imagine what was actually being done in those rituals. They can only imagine like, oh, they experimenting with stuff. Oh, they find out that the anal, that you go hit that root chakra, hit that prostate, boom, you can do it quicker than the meditation. Everybody know that sex magic can awaken your Kundalini faster, especially through the ass, faster than the meditation that we was teaching them originally. At their age, you just do the meditation. You wouldn't have that kid mind, which even though angels you guys see angels as superior, the human race sees angels as superior to them. In our dimension, we see those as angels. We was not exposing them to any sort of sex magic, any sort whatsoever. They weren't ready for that. They knew about something was going on because like again, I said, all the information is freely given. It's just that you won't understand it or you won't know or you won't be bombarded with it. You have to work your way up to understand those levels of consciousness. So they come down here and they know they teaching. They know we was doing something. So they say, okay. Experiment and they found out that you can awaken the Kundalini faster through the ass, through hitting the root chakra, splitting that open. You can either do it, you can fragment it. They found out some real deep stuff. They found out if you go in raw, real hard with especially if it's against the consent, you could actually fragment somebody's consciousness, and you can program them. So they did all types of twisted shit. None of that stuff was supposed to be for that. Tantra, sacred sexuality, none of that was supposed to be used for that nonsense that y'all was using it for. As far as the buck breaking in the industry that they do, where they make you do the booty ritual. They come after me, whatever they gonna do, whatever, act like they don't know what I'm talking about. We all know about it. I'm just giving you some context. But that booty ritual that they make all them artists do and all that stuff, that magic was not supposed to be used for that. To be in certain entities, fragmenting their minds, and that's how you dominate someone too. It's a domination spell as well. Now, there's also the aspect of pleasure. Some people really, obviously there's a prostate um of them, and I know we getting deep here, but like for the males, their prostate is like their G spot, and so there, if you hit it a certain way, it can be very very pleasurable, and that's how it awakens that kundalini. So the men in the brotherhood, the men in the these cults, they figured that shit out. Like, oh, the fallen angels taught them that twisted the Draco murder of reality clan. They twisted a lot of shit, man. I don't know what else to say. And so they found out, oh, we don't gotta go through the initiations of the divine feminine through the kundalini awakening with all of this meditation. Like, sit your ass down and meditate for a couple years and all. They like, nah, man, we can open our shit up, open our pineal glands and one go. And so for them it was easier, and that's why they do that ritual. And then on the other sinister aspect of it is domination, because you get to program and control somebody that way. Particularly if you're this music, how they talk about how a lot of the artists come forward that walked away, they'll tell us, they try to go in their mouth or go in their butt. And I hope I don't get banned for saying stuff like this, but yeah, they talk about how they try to hit them from the back, and that's to usually dominate them, fragment their consciousness, because you're doing something you don't want to do. And it's like, okay, you do this, and then we'll get you this deal. We give you this money. You get it. You want to work in Hollywood. You want us to promote your music. We're gonna bend over, and we're gonna hit your right off of you. We're gonna drop a load off, a spiritual load. We'll be able to steal some of your electrons, your essence. This is your photons. Be able to get up in there and get some of them photons out of you, because they're gonna keep them. It's gonna rejuvenate them, but then they're gonna pass off their loads from the other people that they did it to. And also they're gonna drop off any sort of entities that's attached to them. And sometimes they purposely will drop off those entities inside of them, out of them persons, because when you sign them contracts, the entities are already on the contracts, and so you're infusing it. The sex rituals just seals the deal. Just pushing that energy right on through that person's bottom. It's gonna fragment their mind. They're gonna feel the shame, guilt. Their vibration instantly gonna get lowered. They're gonna feel like they sold their soul. They're gonna feel like shit because they didn't. They're gonna feel like their manhood is taken. They dominated. That they did something that they didn't want to do just to get put on. This is how it goes, and it's all by design. It's a mind control ritual through the sex, and that's the perverted version of a sex magic. That's a horrific version. It was never meant to ever be that way. And so these were people experimenting and fooling around with shit pretty much, and they just figured out that you can awaken your kundalini that faster if you go through it. And then on a sinister level, they also figured out, well, we can learn how to fragment other people's minds, fragment their consciousness through, this sodomy. And so this is what these people do. They've been doing it. Like, now we've heard people come forward about P. Diddy. I would never defend P. Diddy because I see spiritually all the fuckery he's did. It's like it just irks through his soul. It just like oozes through his soul. So to me, like, I'll never defend that. But as far as TD Jakes, I have to say that I haven't looked into it spiritually because I didn't want to. I did that with R. Kelly a couple years ago, and that shit just like drained my energy. Like, looking into, how like, sometimes there's intuitives, they can either use the tarot cards or they can actually just see in the realm without the tarot cards. I could pretty much do both. I don't know if you guys knew I was a tarot reader, but I have like 5-star reviews on my profile. Like, if you ever look me up, like I'm really good at reading with and without the cards. However, I did not want to go and look into TD Jake shit. I just did. I'm tired of looking and seeing crazy energy with some of these people. So I stayed out of that. So there were other women though that said they prophetess and they're intuitives, and they said they looked into it, and they said they saw some crazy shit. And I'm like, I don't want to look into it. And sometimes it don't take an intuitive. Sometimes you could just know. It's a lot of Black Americans that said that they always had got funny feelings about TDJs. I just knew from what I picked up immediately that he was a warlock, that he's an occultist, that's in society. That I knew immediately. I didn't need nothing to tell me. I just looked at his face and just knew. I'm like, oh, and his energy it just reeks through his energy. But as far as him if he go into these Diddy parties, doing the sex magic ritual, or even the sodomy pleasure, if he's just being a hedonist and going to a party to get fucked, get his back blown out, you know, and talk about some money deals, that really ain't none of our business except his wife. His wife need to have his head for that. But if he did something violating, you know, the other people, you know, violating, just being ridiculous, then I think the community should be virulent in, you know, their judgment. I also think that at those parties with the P. Diddy stuff and then the energy around it, as far as like the other artists that have come forward and talked about how they suffered under that label, so many men and women, we all know he was using the sex party and the sex magic as a fragmented, as the perverted version, the freak off stuff they talk about, forcing the artist into the freak offs and all that stuff. That was not done for pleasure. That wasn't done for fun. That was done for energy harvesting. That was done for soul capturing through the artist's booty hole or through their mouth. And so that I would never understand, like, if it was my husband, ain't no way in the world he going to no motherfucking P. Diddy party, even if it was just for pleasure. Even if like, no, you ain't going to no motherfucking P. Diddy party. You asked me to take your ass over to Trapeze or somewhere. I wouldn't tolerate. I'm just speaking, and I wouldn't tolerate none of that because I'm not into I'm not into that. I'm just not. I understand sex magic, but I'm not into sodomy, that type shit. No. But if I was, you know, if that was my husband, and I found out, you know, he trying to go to P. Diddy party, oh, I would shut that down immediately. And I'm very open minded. I'm like, okay, you want to do some sex magic, whatever. But no, you ain't going to no motherfucking P. Diddy party. No, hell no. So that would have been the end of it. If y'all want to do business, y'all could do business in the daytime. Y'all could go meet at public anywhere to go do a business deal. But to a party? No, you ain't going to no Diddy party. Better go to somebody else's party. You know, but that would just be me if I was his wife. That would have instantly raised my antenna. If I found that out. That's just me though. But then they play a different game than the average human. They play a different game than the average person. They really do. They have their cults. They have their beliefs. Their beliefs are built on the lies of the fallen angels who stole their information from a very ancient order before they came down here. And that's what they're just not realizing, by the way. I try to tell them that, and they, oh, Kylie crazy. Oh, Kylie, oh. I bet you a lot of people don't be saying that shit now because them powers that be, they kind of really like, yo, that motherfucker know what she talking about. And I think the nigga that gave them marching orders to come against me and sent them on that dummy mission, he the one that told, you know, he the one that told them to go do this to me. He the one that came and told me, because that's what they do. This is what these interdimensional beings do. They send motherfuckers on dummy missions. That's why they say you never make a deal with the devil. That's what they always tell you. That you never, because they don't play fair and they'll trick your ass. It's as simple as that. That same entity that gave them their marching orders came to me and said, yeah, they about to do this, and you good. And I'm talking in code here because, you know, I know some that will listen, they'll catch it. But I'm like, that's why you never, and I never get involved in that shit. Never, never even play that game. Don't ever play that game, because it'd be a lot of stuff that be over your pay grade. It's a lot of stuff that's over my pay grade. But I know for a fact that that information that they using to carry out what they were doing, how they were running Hollywood, how they were running the industries, how they were running that information that they stole. I'm not saying the people that just didn't know, the ignorant people. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the interdimensional beings that stole the information, that gave it to them. It was botched from the beginning. It was botched. It was botched. You think that shit that Aleister Crowley was teaching these people, that shit actually made sense? Y'all think that shit actually made sense? Y'all thought it was cool to just do that to Tahuti's teachings like that and just rename it Hermeticism and put some Hermes Trismegistus dude from Greece on there? Y'all really thought that was cool? That shit's not fucking cool. How y'all just botched them? How y'all just botched their fucking teachings like that? And then now the house of cards is falling. Now everything is out in the open. Now everything is like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? What's going wrong here? Because the shit was botched. The teachings was never given in its purest sense. And then the people who got the teachings and got the teachings that got into the hands of the wrong people, they did shit for power. It got corrupted because they wanted more power, and they figured out some things like, oh, if we reverse this energy, we get more power temporarily. You got to pay it all back. If we fuck somebody in the ass, we can take their photons and electrons and give ourselves more energy. And we can control them, and we can insert entities into them and fragment their ass and to get more energy off of them. This is what these people was doing. And now they realize House of Cards falling because that energy got to be paid back. Right? You never make a deal with the devil. And then it's like, I'll never forget. I told him, I said, nah, I ain't gonna go there because we're not ready for that. But yeah, but I'm like, y'all took them teachings and from an order that's so ancient and so old that predates that created Judaism and created Hinduism. This stuff is so old. And I'm not saying the humanity stole it. I'm saying the entities that taught humanity this stuff stole it. And so they botched it. They got some of the stuff right. Not all of it is messed up, because there were watchers that were sent down here, and yeah, I'll just call them watchers. But there were descendants of dragon riders and watchers that came down here after that all happened to try to correct some of those things. A lot of them were killed. A lot of them were silenced. A lot of their stuff was stolen and buried or kept secret and then kept from y'all. They was trying to teach and get their shit out, just like they tried to do to me. They was trying to teach you and get some stuff out to you guys. And then they hurried up and killed their ass and it took the teachings and hid them and gave you the botch versions of it. Or, just stuff like that. And so with TD Jakes, with TD Jakes, man, if you in that industry and you talking about, you Christian and you're a man of God and you preaching God's word and all that stuff, I mean, I understand the things that y'all keep from the congregation, and y'all got these Christians just very myopic and one-dimensional, and you're not explaining everything to them. And even who Yeshua was, y'all not explaining all that stuff to them, which I guess y'all want to keep it a secret off of yourself because it gives y'all more power. But at the same time, a lot of those teachings, y'all perverted them. And y'all should just know better. Y'all in that industry, in that wicked music industry. And music is very beautiful and very powerful and very healing and very sacred. But that industry, So I don't know why you was going to his parties. I really don't understand that. And I understand his brotherhood and his brothers over everything and all that. And you look out for your own and all that. But come on, man. Come on. What they say, you can't serve two masters, man. You gonna love one and despise the other. You cannot serve two masters. And so it makes me think like, do your congregation know these things? Like, do they know that a lot of y'all, when y'all talking about God, and God's blessing, that do they know who are y'all tapped in? Which God are y'all talking about? Which God? My thing is, if I just believe in transparency. I keep it a buck. I told you guys from the get-go, Yes, I haven't revealed all of who I am. I left a lot of clues. I left a lot of very blatant information. I think the people that at the top know exactly. But as far as like the average, I just don't think the average human is capable of understanding that. But I've pretty much given out a lot about the chaos intelligence realm, about the order of Kali, the order of Tahuti, the interdimensional beings that came here, the watchers, the fallen angel. I've given out a lot of information. A lot of the information has already been out there. I've just come to add some more about the chaos intelligence realm, because the chaos intelligence realm has merged on planet Earth. It's certainly back. And so that information is out for the first time in terms of how that governance was set up, how that governance was ran, how the information that even some of the fallen angels hid from humans. Like, why didn't Lucifer tell you about his grandmother? Why didn't he tell y'all that? And you guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe not the audience, but I'm talking to you pastors, some of you pastors that know some shit. Why didn't he tell y'all about his grandmother? And why he ain't bucking up at me? Because he know the shit that I'm saying is true about his grandmother, and why they really came down here, and what really happened, how the war really broke out. Now, you guys may say, oh, that's just too left field, and that's just too much, and that ain't true. That ain't real. None of that stuff is real, Kylie. That ain't real. Yeah, well, that's on out. I don't care if you don't believe it. You don't have to. You do not have to believe it. But when we talk about archangels and all this stuff, it was presented in a kiddie version. Of course, it's a kiddie version to talk about, like to talk about it in like a literal sense. But yeah, that a lot of that shit popped off. They left out so many details, just humongous details that really would have ascended humanity, ascended this planet. But they left those details out so that they can control humanity. And of this planet that you see now, this system that you see now, unfairness, unbridled capitalism, racial stratifications, wars on top of wars, exploitation, monetary stratification, all types of stuff. It was all done by design for the power of the few, the elite to have the control over the many, for the power to be concentrated in the hands of the few. That's why it was hidden. And so the ancient ones are back and saying no, like, come on, the time is up. And we correcting a lot of this information, putting out more stuff, doing drive-bys on planet Earth before we go to our next destination. And so we just doing a drive-by. That's literally what my ilk and me and my kind, that's literally what we doing. We just doing a quick drive-by, like spraying the niggas that deserve to be sprayed. Other ones that want to come in our car, you come in our car and we out. You come in our ship, rather, our mothership, and we out. But it's just ridiculous. So what do I think TD Jakes was being a power bottom? If he was, that's his business. My thing is, his wife how do your wife feel about you doing sex magic? How do your wife feel about you being in those society? How do your wife feel about that? Is your wife on game? Or is she just a loosey goose woman that don't know shit? So if she okay with you doing that sex magic stuff, that's fine. But don't be going to P Diddy parties. Don't align with that shit. Why would you align yourself with that? And your soul and in them entities, like, oh no, them they be conjuring up all types. It be when they be doing them sex parties, it be all types of demons running around and entities and jinns, and it be all types of ridiculous low governing force entities around them in them parties. They be swapping. I know y'all was laughing when homegirl was talking about like this actual. She was given the actual scenes, of what they was, what kind of how the demons look and all that stuff, and everybody thought it was funny. I thought it was funny too, but yo, that shit is real. That shit. I mean, you might not be able to see it just because you can't see it. It's an invisible realm. It's the spiritual realm. Yeah, but they be having all, they be doing all types of rituals on their ass, and these girls, they be groupies and they be thinking, oh, it's a bag, it's a money, it's ballers, and they go to them parties, they get dressed up, they get their Giuseppe's on and they Chanel, and they go to them parties not knowing what the fuck they getting into. They be done had that. They got all types of grimoires open all in the back and all types of some shit they done did beforehand. And, you know, you don't know what's going on in a back room or what kind of shit they doing back there with. Man, hell no. Nah. You wouldn't catch me near them type of that type of shit. No. And the average person don't know. They just think they go into a party. Then they tell you to prick your blood. I know y'all heard about that. They tell you to prick your blood, and because they checking for STDs, then you gotta sign the NDA so that you can talk about. Then you gotta give your phone up, and you can't talk about nothing before you get into them parties. We used to talk about that. Actually, talked with a person that said they had to do all that, and I said, "Oh, you don't know what." I was looking at him sideways. I was like, hell no. Nah. But they make you prick your blood, and the average idiot don't know. They just go into the party thinking, oh, okay. Man, them interdimensional beings be telling them when to do them parties. They tell them, look, we need to feast. Yo ass signed this contract. We need a motherfucking feast. We need some clean souls in this bitch. They go and tell them that. And they get the human slaves, the humans who are contracted to them, enslaved by them pretty much, go throw the party. Go bring some innocent girls, innocent men's sex party. They run rampant, do your ritual beforehand, do your ritual after in another room where they don't know what the hell going on. And yeah, that's what they do. They bring them in and they feast. Them entities feast during them sex parties. Sex magic is very powerful. Especially if a married couple do it outside of say a den of iniquity, outside of that shit. Sex magic is very very sacred, is very powerful, and it could be used for very enlightening things. It could be used for very very enlightening enrichment of the soul. You can really connect with the divine consciousness through sex. You really can, but obviously everything has this duality. You'll have that energy that perverts it. There is something on this planet. There is things on this planet that completely perverts sex magic. And then they have everybody all scared, and every time you mention sex magic, they think of Aleister Crowley. They think of all of the nastiness. They think of the sacrificing of the women's and the children. They think of the panda eye rituals and the children, all that stuff. And when I talk about sex magic, that is the farthest thing I'm thinking of. Hell no. No way. No way. When I talk about, I'm talking about the ancient tantric practices. Obviously, if you look at the Koala Upanishad or even Kama Sutra, a lot of people think Kama Sutra is just all sex. Majority of Kama Sutra is not sex. It's actually very dry and boring. Even Tantra, believe it or not, sex is a very small part of Tantra. And I wrote a book on Tantra and Kama Sutra. When you look at the 64, things to do in Kama Sutra, you look at them things, they're very enriching. Painting with your lover, creating jewelry, candles, like what else? Drawing arts, paint, doing it's real dry. It's very vanilla, but it's very interesting. Creating music together, creating poems together. This is what, if you look at Kama Sutra, the divine masculine, divine feminine, they're creating poems together, writing music, playing music instruments together. That's literally what is in Tantra and in Kama Sutra. And so obviously it's like about, they have this Agori left-hand path of the Tantra. That means we can do whatever we want, that type shit. Like, no, that stuff was not. And even there was always warnings in the Koala Upanishad, and we're not talking about Western left-hand path. But in the Koala Upanishad, I always said, this can be your quickest way to enlightenment, but it can also be your quickest way to self-destruction. Don't go near it. It's called lightning bolt Tantra. Don't go near it. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You need to be trained. You need to be disciplined. You have to have some deep knowledge before you engage in that. Before you engage in Ogori practice. They always tell you that. They always say that. But yeah, Ogori is absolutely the fastest. That's actually the path I was guided on to gain my enlightenment and my Kundalini awakening. However, I did not go do actual, like, the things that because there's a symbolic form. Some of the practitioners, they'll teach you the symbolic form of the Koala Upanishad, the 5 M's, and then they'll teach you the obviously there's the very esoteric aspect of it is the literal, but you're guided. You're usually guided by a practitioner. So I just did the 5 M's, and I was guided by Kali Ma herself, and it was just pretty much just I don't even want to get into, because I would never recommend that to another human unless they was already engaged in that lifestyle and was looking for a way to transcend out of it and to reach God out of it. But I would never tell a person that's not involved in the 5 M's to go engage in it, because I'm not about to be responsible for fucking up nobody's life. I'm not being responsible for that shit. So I don't even like to go into like my own details about it, because I don't want to get nobody no ideas, and then they don't get out of, again, it's the quickest way to self-destruction. It is absolutely, you can literally die. And they tell you, the text will tell you, like, don't touch this, don't pick this up, don't get so excited about it. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. You open it up, you open up the Pandora's box. Be careful, be careful, be careful. And then people don't listen. And of course, them Westerners, they got a hold of that shit, and they just say, oh, don't touch it. That means exploit it, and it was very esoteric for a reason, those practices. And with me, I got incredibly lucky. And the only reason why I was brought to that path is because I was already engaged in the 5 M's. But if you're not engaged in those 5 M's, I would never. I only tell. I will, if somebody came to me and said, "Yo, I will give them tips and then to help them transition out of those 5 M's so that they can reach the Godhead and get out of and transcend their consciousness, and then they can use that to awaken that Kundalini energy." But as far as just going around teaching that to the public, to the average human, hell no. I ain't about to have. I got an answer for that in the afterlife. Like, you done taught them that, and that was irresponsible as fuck. That's irresponsible to do that. That's how I see it. That's just me. But Trungpa, he was a Buddhist monk who did that. He came to America and taught a bunch of white folks the Agori Tantra, the Eastern tantric practices, and they had a ball. I know a lot of people ruined their lives doing that shit. There was a lot of people that ended up on drugs doing that shit. But he was one. He ended up. He never got out of that 5 M stage. I mean, he had moments of enlightenment, sure, but he ended up, from what I understand, he ended up drinking himself to death, drinking his liver away, and that could be a rumor, but I certainly heard that. I certainly heard it. That was the one that's founded Naropa University, I believe. But yeah, they was doing all types of orgies, he was planning all types of orgies with his students and running around butt naked, drinking and drugging. And it's easy to lose sight of yourself in that realm. And that's what Hollywood and the whole industry is built off of, the left-hand path of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and music, party hardy. And those who see the game for what it is, and they take them studies seriously, yeah, they can get out or avoid it. They don't. That's why you see some people, they won't drink, they won't do drugs, the people that work in Hollywood that know what that shit is about, they won't do nothing. They'll live a very square vanilla life because they know the dangers of that shit. But most people, they get caught up and that shit spit you out alive. That's why you see so many people in the music industry drugged out, overdosed, alcoholic, fucked every type of way, prostitute, all types of stuff. You hear all types of stuff because they run. The thing is that they using bastardized teachings. They don't westernize all them teachings. They using the Aleister Crowley version of shit that he didn't really understand. Like, let's just be real. And that stuff, they're very irresponsible to do that. But it's fallen angels running that industry. And them fallen angels really don't give a damn because they want to feast. And it's not all of them, because some of them watchers did defect from the original 33% that it was all rolling together. Like, some of them really are guardians of the earth and do want to see humanity transcend. They don't want nothing to do with that stuff. They don't want nothing to do with that. But a lot of them, they don't fail so considerably in consciousness. That's the only way they can get electrons in to leave the stratosphere. They can't leave, and so they pretty much throw humans through the ringer. They throw humans through the ringer and suck their souls. Sure do. And P. Diddy, whew, whew, he been doing that for so long, and it's time to pay up. They ready to cash out on his ass. That's why they dragging him through the ringer. And I had just said in that video I did of him, and there's gonna be a lot more celebrities that fall around him too. A lot more public figures. Now that could mean that they either walking away from it and they ready to go. They're gonna get embarrassed or whatever the industry gonna do to take them out, embarrass them, ruin their legacy. They either walking away from the contract and not doing and just said, fuck it, I want to be free and I don't want to abide by these entities no more. And whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna do it. They either doing that, they either doing a humiliation ritual, or they can't pay. They can't cash out, and they ready to cash out on them, and they don't got no other way to cash out, no other way but to force a humiliation ritual on the artist. And so it's going down. It's going down. It's a house of cards in that industry. I'm talking about spiritually, because even the people that's in the industry don't know what the hell's really going. They know something going on, but they don't know spiritually. But yeah, the people that they stole that knowledge from, that the fallen angels stole that knowledge from, those entities are on this planet now. And they're very upset. They're very pissed at what has happened with their teachings and with their knowledge and what has happened to humanity. And also, humanity not off the hook. Yeah, there's a lot of entities that still baby humanity. I'm actually one of them. We still kind of like feel really bad and shit. But it's some of these entities, they looking like we really, we sent many people down here to give y'all information, and we put it all in front of you guys too. So some of them don't feel as sorry, don't feel as like compassionate, but then you got some that are very compassionate, Yeah, but TD Jakes, it's a new day, man. If you was doing that shit, that's your business. But if you was hurting anybody, you better get right with God, man. And don't chase that fame, man. Don't chase that dollar and that fame and the fortune and the notoriety. Really chase your spirit. Chase God within. You know what I'm talking about? Chase the God within, the real God, not the illusion, not the Maya realm, not anything in this Maya this house of cards. It's don't try to save face, as far as like going against the Godhead in order to save face in a material realm. It won't be worth it. It won't be worth it. It won't be worth it. That's why I always say, people be having powerful anointings on their life, but you gotta how do I say this? Because you have free will, obviously, you have a choice, but when you have them powerful, when you already come in with a lot of anointing and a lot of electrons and a lot of light and a lot of power, in a sense, how do I say? I personally feel that I have to abide by that universal law of God. That universal law, because I really do think that if I was doing some sherm shit, if I forgot the teachings of my order and forgot the things that the God that gave me my power, I really think that I would be strike dead. I really believe that shit. Like if I was just to sell out or to do some sherm shit or do some real corruptible shit, I really think that God would remove her hands off my life. I really, and that's just me. I know I've been in situations where I know that I was, like they talk about the Abednego and Shadrach and I probably got the names wrong, and Daniel and that lion's den and shit. I'm telling you firsthand, and I've been in situations like that where I know I was supposed to die, and I didn't. I've been in situations where there was 50 doctors taking a bunch of cameras and pictures of all of me because they know what happened that day, and I'm pretty sure a lot of those at the top know what I'm talking about. When I was supposed to die, and all them doctors was like, "How the fuck is this motherfucker still living?" And they taking pictures like there's no way this person could still be alive. There's no way that this person is not bleeding to death. Like there's just no way. And they was just, we know what I'm talking about. Like it was like 50 doctors just standing around like, what in the hell? Who is this person? Like what's going on here? In a restricted access area, by the way. that day. And so I know that stuff is real. You know, I've been in that situation where it's like, nah, I really believe that if I was to just go left and forget why I came here, forget my mission, I really think I would. And I know that obviously anybody could be redeemed and forgiveness, and I know God is love. I really know God is love. You know, and at the same time, I ain't trying to lower my vibration to where I don't have access to that level of power. And so what happened with a lot of you pastors, like a lot of you mega pastors, y'all have, y'all have powerful anointings, powerful gifts that God gave you to come with powerful missions to influence the masses, to have people listen to your words and your knowledge. And y'all just went to the devil, man. Y'all just got so sucked in the Maya realm, the material illusion. I just got so sucked into that. I just don't understand that. And then y'all get caught up in scandal and embarrassment, and then you at risk at your whole empire falling. And you're not the only one. It's bad pastors that got caught up in sherm shit. When you giving them type of gifts, you kind of got to walk a straight line. It's the price that we pay, in a sense. Especially if you really, really, really high up there. Like if you really, really close to God, it's kind of like, I mean, they always talk about like how angels don't have free will, certain beings don't have, even certain gods don't have free will. Certain gods, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like certain gods, like no, we a part of stuff. We understand universal law. Yeah, we can bend the universal laws at will and create dimensions and portals and all types of shit. Yeah, but it comes with a price. Like you don't just get that amount of power and then you just get to go and lead people astray and just destroy, and take and take and take and steal and they don't. There's no consequences or lie. No, it don't work that way. That is not how that works. And so and then it's not so much that it's like, okay, guys, like, oh, let's strike them dead. It's not so much like that. It's just like you reverse the energy so much and do such a horrific imbalance that it eventually boomerang, that the pendulum swings the other way and knock your ass off. It's just pretty much it. It's like you get out, you're gonna get back what you put out. It's as simple as that, and I know it's like I read this verse every day, and I'm very spiritual. I don't belong to any one religion. I don't. But it's this verse that I read. It says, "Blessed is the woman." Every time, they always talk about the man. But this was ancient. These are ancient texts that was originally written. I ain't gonna get there. I ain't gonna go there. But anyways, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor sit in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But her delight is in the universal law of God. Now it says the law of God, the law of the Lord. Obviously, that's not the way this was originally written. This was written by somebody. This was an interdimensional being that understood the universal laws of the universe. So it's the universal law of God. And in that law, do we meditate day and night? That means we just uphold the law. We meditate in that law day and night. And we should be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth the fruit in our season. And our leaf shall not wither, and whatever we do, it shall prosper. So this is a highly advanced. Again, we talked about how David had sibyls and oracles write the grimoires for him. Obviously, Psalms is a grimoire written by sibyls. I'm not saying he didn't write some of this stuff himself. This was obviously a melanated king. This wasn't like the person named David as we think. But this is a very ancient text, and this being I've studied this Psalms, and I'm like, no, I have revelations on this. This was written by a lot of oracles. That they were from a specific order though, and they understood a lot of stuff. They understood there's a lot of hidden codes in this stuff. It's a lot of hidden codes. But in that universal law, we're talking about the laws of the universe, the stuff that Tahuti was talking about. This is the stuff we delight in, the universal laws of God. And in that law, we meditate day and night. We uphold that law. And because we uphold that law, whatever we do, it shall prosper. Our leaf is not going to wither. The ungodly on our soul, but I like the chaff which the wind driveth away. So we uphold the teachings of our order. We understand those universal laws of God, and we abide by those laws. And because of that, whatever we do, it shall prosper. We don't wither. But see, when you just don't follow those universal laws, you just do whatever, you become like the chaff, which the wind driveth away. That's what's happened with a lot of these niggas. That's why I don't get into religiosity. I'll never get into religiosity and be, I just can't. I never want to be looked at as one of them uh holier than thou motherfuckers. Like I never want to look like as that as an ordained minister. I just never want to. Because you I'm cut from a different cloth, and I believe in righteousness though. I'm just cut from a different cloth. But TD Jakes went out there. He the pastor teaching the Black Americans and all this stuff, and he out here doing power bottom shit. It's ridiculous. Oh, let me see. I haven't looked at these comments because I had my stuff. I had another screen up. Let me just see what Twitter went down with TD and Esteem. Oh yeah, it did. This is girly girl locks. Okay, interesting. And she said, what else did you say? You said his energy never sat right with me. Never read a book from him when I was in the church. Right. Like a lot of people, they never was feeling him. And you said, I feel that TD Jake's wife knew she was down for the energy of the Orphan Potos. Yeah, she probably was. She probably did know. You said, interesting. I believe most pastors, Waters Humanity says, interesting. I believe most pastors practice sex magic in the church. Yeah, they do. And they be doing some sinister stuff. Look at, we heard about what was happening to Aretha Franklin when she was a kid in the church. Hollywood is Archon City. They will attach the S out of it. Oh, sure would. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yep. Input, output. You get what you. Waters Humanity. What you saying? What for? Was there anything you need clarification on? I want to get out of here because I know I feel like I've been. I think I belabored the point. Input, output. You get what you put out. Yep, that's it. So chickens have come home to roost for TD Jakes. Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna head on out of here. That was on my mind. I was really thinking about that shit too. I was thinking about that. What happened to? Oh yeah. There was a situation that happened, and yeah, yep. That's where I never elaborated on it, but I know the people at the top know what I'm talking about. I am telling you, it was weird, man. They was all standing around in a circle too. They was doing they had to be in a restricted access area, like bolted. Shit was dead bolted. I couldn't leave if I wanted to. I didn't sign up for it. It was obviously involuntary. And I talked with a friend, and they said because they was scared you was gone. This was an old friend. This is not my friend anymore. But we were talking, and he said they was scared you was gonna shapeshift on their ass, and they didn't want nobody else seeing that shit. That's why we laugh about that. We laughed about that. That was hilarious. But he somebody, because he's the guy I'm talking about. He's deep in that industry. He actually went to the Diddy parties. The person I'm talking about. This person was actually at the White House too. Yeah, so he knew exactly what had happened to me, and so I don't feel necessarily comfortable with telling the public yet, but like that there's a obia ritual that they do, and that shit was it's a death spell. That shit was used on me, man. That shit they and he told me that's what it was, and I knew that's what it was. But yeah, I was deep, man, and they I went to the hospital. They was taken, and they had when I had actually woke up, they started to ask me like, "Are you okay with us taking?" It was taking pictures, and then I said, "What the hell going on?" I said, "No." But I heard them talking too. They was like, "How is this happening? Like, how is this? How?" And then they was like examining and saying like, "How is she not?" They made a comment because I don't even. I guess I just don't feel quite comfortable. I feel like if we were in private, I would probably talk to you about it. But Yeah. Yeah, if we were in private, but mm-mm-mm. It's a lot. Oh yes, girly girl locks. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah, I hope you hear from. Yeah, I'm definitely healing. I'm definitely better than where I was like a year ago. That shit took a lot out of me. But God, uh, she. That's why I have. It's hard to to get me pulled away from that, from my beliefs in the primordial mother, because I know for a fact of what I went through, and I know for a fact that what I witnessed. But that's a bit of a tangent. But I'm glad you ladies was here to listen to my diatribe about the TD Jakes and the sex magic and all that stuff. I'm glad you guys was here for that. 'Cause I'm glad I got out of that stuff too, because I was around people that was in that Hollywood stuff that have positions. They behind the scenes though, but they had positions in that stuff. They work with the artists. They draw up the contracts. They make the contracts. Um, they're really connected politically. Like I've been around them people. I ran into it by accident. I didn't know. I just thought that. I was thinking about Black Americans and empowerment, all this stuff. And next thing you know, I'm surrounded by, and I was warned that that was gonna happen. It was like, girl, if you don't get out of that shit, next thing you know, you'll be surrounded by a bunch of devils. and so I'm telling you what I saw firsthand in that shit. Like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Them people, they work behind the scenes. But oof. Even that situation with Jaguar, right? I know y'all never believe this, but real shit. That day before she got into that situation where they had locked her up in that mental hospital and drugged her up, and she was out in the middle of the streets talking about the barbershop, how she put the ashes and all that. No lie. Yeah, y'all don't have to believe me. I don't care. The day before that happened, I got a phone call from somebody that's in that industry, and they told me, they was like, "Yeah, we about to lock that bitch up." I gotta believe it. He literally said, "Oh, she ain't." He said, "Anybody that talk and spill our secrets like that, and spill our business like that, they don't mean no good." Because I'm thinking, like, what's she doing? She ain't doing nothing wrong. She just put motherfuckers on blast. What she doing wrong? And he was like, "Oh yeah, she won't be doing that next week. We about to lock. We about to send her ass to the mental. We about to get her. We about to get her together." The next day, that shit happened. Next day, her ass was locked up in that mental hospital. No lie. And I was shocked. I said, how did that happen so quick? And that's when I realized, I said, that was the motherfucker that was behind what happened to me. Because, he did that same, he just said it real flippantly. Yeah, she on there, and anybody that would do that to us, they don't mean no good. What you talking about? I'm like, huh? Yeah, and then he said, she won't be the same by the time we know. But thank God, she got protection on her, so she got out of that situation. But no lie, that next day, I looked that up, because I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm thinking he just, how people just be talking shit. I still was very naive at this time. But that next day, that motherfucker was locked up in a home in a mental institution. Then she said she was drugged, and she's currently in a lawsuit with her. Yep. And I had told my parent, I said, I think they sent that nigga on me. I said, I think that dude is an agent. Then this person, whew, I don't even want to get into all that, because it's just too deep. It's just too deep, guys. But no lie. So I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Bye.